from a little cover. I got my dreams inside, wrestling on the mat. I go and put up a fight with every hold and slam. I rise to the peak. Now as Professor Bear, it's my strength that they see. Roaring with knowledge like a lion so proud. In this wrestling world, I'm standing out loud. I'm Professor Bear, got the passion to spare. Wrestling's my life with the power to share. From the roots to ropes, in the spotlight we gleam, chasing victory dreams, living out the theme. Now my WOSN, my squad.
Yeah. Hey, new beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul.
With my boys crew, we'll always ride. In the wrestling world, one just claim the prize.
Welcome, and thank you for joining me this evening. I am Professor Bear, and this is A Bear's Thought. Guys, girls, we have been going strong today with so many great episodes and talking to some great owners and promoters. It's an amazing thing of how much we as wrestling fans get to see and experience. And the thing is, a lot of times as fans, we just take it for granted of what men and women are doing for our entertainment. And I think that's sad. And that's why I decided to do this Appreciation Month. They truly deserve it. And to find out their journey to what we love in the sport of wrestling. Now, today I have my man Todd. Todd is helps in the backstage. He's also a referee, which is good because I don't have a lot of referees come on my show, and I don't know if I got a magnet on me, but I'm trying to give the refs more love, and they don't want to come on my. I don't know what the hell it is, but anyway, besides that, and he works for Mid-Atlantic Territory Wrestling.
That's right.
Yeah. How are you doing today, Todd?
I am doing fantastic. So thanks for having me. I am a very passionate about professional wrestling, and in particular, currently in my life, Mid-Atlantic Territory Wrestling. And so I'm always happy to spread the word and share any insight and thoughts I can on that. So I appreciate you having me.
No problem. Before we dive into it, I want everybody to see that logo in the right-hand corner. This is where wrestling, as big of a world it is so small. We have so many similar companies out there that have similar names, or hell, even have the exact same name. So I want you to see their logo so you will know when you go do research on them, you know you're looking at the right company. And if you're anything like Professor Bear, you enjoy when people help you out. And I love helping out the youngsters, because look, most old people ain't about to use that QR code for shit. It's the truth. I can't help it. But for you youngsters, scan that QR code. It will take you directly to their YouTube page, so you can see all the great, exciting action that they have on there. Now, sir,
Yes, sir.
the question I always ask my guests first thing is, how did you become a wrestling fan?
Oh gosh, a wrestling fan. It was very simple. It was back in the '80s. We got cable television, um, which in and of itself seems like an outdated thing nowadays. But we got cable
Right.
television, and with that expansion for a TV watching kid in the '80s, getting beyond your basic networks, I discovered things like MTV and wrestling, and I just remember channel surfing one night and flipping through the channels, and I landed on World Championship Wrestling, the old NWA Saturday Night Show on TBS, and I was just mesmerized by what I saw, and that was it. I tuned back in the following week and kept tuning in, and eventually found the other broadcasts on Saturday morning and things like that, and that was it. It was instantaneously my life at that point. So long time ago, but it's my fandom with wrestling has changed a bit over more recent years. A large part of it is the main part of it is what I do with MATW. I'll be the first to admit I don't watch anything on TV nowadays. There's nothing that does anything for me. So I'll watch old stuff. I'll read books. I'll listen to podcasts. It's still very much a part of my life, but as far as a fan, like it used to be, it's not the same, and that's long gone. And so that's exactly why I'm happy and proud of MATW and what we are doing, because there's a lot of people out there like myself and a lot of us involved in MATW that do not feel like there's something out there that is filling what we're looking for. And so we work really hard to truly be an alternative. I know that's kind of been a overused saying a lot of times with promotions in wrestling, but
Right.
the reality of it is everyone that's come along that's claimed to have been an alternative, in my opinion, has been nothing but kind of a WWE wannabe. And they just try and replicate what they see there. And same thing with wrestling. There's a lot of people out there, in my opinion, that are kind of playing wrestler or pretending to be what they see on TV as opposed to truly trying to be something themselves. And so I'm very proud of MATW and what we've been able to accomplish in what's it been 3 years now. The number of shows we've run over multiple states and being on TV in front of 90 million homes and all kinds of stuff. And we got some really cool stuff coming up this year. And I'm sound redundant here, but I'm very proud of us and what we've done. It's the only place that I work now. I love it. It is a huge part of my life, and I am eager to see where we go as we continue to grow and opportunities that are opening up for us this year down the road.
I love it. One of the big things for me is you all have taken the history of Mid-Atlantic and brought it to the current day, and not just brought it to the current day. Y'all stay in the pocket of what Mid-Atlantic was before they went to World Championship Wrestling. And I would be lying if I said I hadn't watched y'all shows. I've watched it plenty of times.
I appreciate that.
I mean, we have y'all on our app and show y'all your work. Our app is currently down. It'll be back up by next month. But it is so refreshing to see. And like immediately, one of the people that stuck out to me when I saw him, and I know I'm going to screw up his name, but it's BT. What is it?
BT Windsor.
Yes,
Yeah.
First time I seen him, I'm like, this is Magnum. It's Magnum TA reincarnate. I mean, his mannerism, he is a hell of a wrestler.
Young guy. He came in and worked the show for us, and we were all just kind of like, oh my gosh, like, look at this guy. And super proud of him and the development and the growth with him, all the way to being MATW champion for a run there. And, you're correct in what you said as far as we do try and keep it very Jim Crockett-esque, right? There's been a belief and a saying out there that had Jim Crockett Promotions stayed in their area and not ventured out to try and expand, they may still be around.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the mentality that we have. We don't want to be a national promotion. We want to be what they should have been. Because territory wrestling in general has a special place in the hearts of a lot of us in MATW, in particular Crockett, just from the area that we are and where most of us grew up. But there's also a very, very strong influence of early 90s WCW. And so we're kind of a mix of all that, and it's I look at it more so like it's professional wrestling done the right way, as opposed to we're not necessarily trying to pay tribute to the past. We're very respectful about that, but we're not trying to relive it or rehash it or replicate it. There's similarities with some talent. There's some, matches and stuff you've seen but I don't even know what I'm trying to say right now.
I believe that you're saying that y'all are your own entity. You're giving respect, but you're not living off of what
you can't,
was in
right?
the past.
There's a band out there called Steel Panther. Okay, they are a comedy band that some say pays tribute, but also lambastes and kind of pokes fun at like 80s rock bands and hair bands and stuff. We're not that of professional wrestling, right? There's too much ha-ha and poking fun at some stuff in wrestling. We take what we do very, very seriously. And if you look at what we've been able to accomplish, I'll put our storylines and stuff up against any promotion out there. We might not have the budget. We might not have the production. We might not have the biggest named wrestlers, but with what we've been able to put together with chicken wire and duct tape, smokes what a lot of places out there have. There's other, and I don't want to knock anyone, but there's places out there that have money behind them and their production looks great. And they got some name guys and some bigger looking dudes and whatnot, but the in-ring product, the storylines, the match, they're just not good. And I'll put our stuff up against anybody. And anybody who comes to our shows, watches us on TV, they see that there's continuity from show to show. Everything is there for a purpose. So many times we'll have people that will contact the promotion and say, hey, can I work there? Can I have a match there? Can I get on this show? Can I whatever? And it's not like typical independent wrestling. And I don't even like to refer to us as independent wrestling. We're just professional wrestling, because every match, every person's got to fit a role, and it's got to be for a reason. And that's one thing a lot of people have said as they've watched our show, or as they have, our Thanksgiving Thunder special we had, which almost knocked the server out. People have come to our shows and they go, whoa, it's the same thing. These are the same. It looks the same as the show I saw on TV. It looks the same as the show I saw 2 months ago. There's continuity here. I can follow this. I can get invested. And we really have seen a jump in the emotional investment of our fans the last couple of months, probably from the end of last year, Thanksgiving Thunder, our big kind of end of year show we had in Gloucester, Virginia. That was a fantastic show that ended with a huge angle, and it propelled us into this new year. And we have continually grown our monthly TV taping crowd, and everyone is just fully invested in every character, good, bad, main event, opening match. It's like you saw back in the day in territories. I mean, everyone is fully on board and fully invested, and it's taken time to build that. But because at first there were wrestlers that people didn't know, they weren't familiar with, they were new, they were young, they were from another area. And as we've gone along and we've just stayed true to the course and continued to prod forward, we have grown and developed this, and we have a very loyal fan base. And it always ceases to amaze me that there's people that will come to almost every show. I'm like, don't you guys have anything else to do with your life than come to every weekend to MATW? But there's people, we get people. We had a dude drive from like Michigan to one of our shows, and we got figures now that we're selling, and there's people in the Midwest ordering figures, and there's people in England watching our show. And I'm just like, it blows my mind to think that we're a bunch of dudes just trying to, as Kiss said, be the band we never saw, or that we're not seeing anywhere. And it's just such a humbling thing to know that there's people out there that are digging what we're doing and watching and coming to shows. And we hope that they just stick around and tell their friend and bring someone with them next time.
I tell you, the first time I watched your product, and I'm going to be completely honest because I tried to be, is I wouldn't have given y'all a second look if it wasn't for Kevin Kelly. When I saw him, I'm like, holy shit, they got Kevin Kelly. You've gotten my intrigue now. So Kevin Kelly is such a big name. He's done so much in the wrestling business. First thing I thought when I saw him, I'm like, they have to be legit. Kevin is not going to work with anyone that he does not think is a good company. And I'd say that, and look at his track records. Look of where he has worked and how it has grown. So, like I said, that was an immediate thing for me. Then I started seeing, I watched the one show. I'm like, oh shit, I like the storyline. And of course, in me being an older guy and seeing Mid-Atlantic in its heydays and knowing different things, I'm like, shit, they ain't just take the name Mid-Atlantic. This has a Mid-Atlantic feel. The storyline, I could get invested with this. And it's like, wow, this is the wrestling I love. This is what made me become a fan.
And it's just a matter of spreading the word and getting it out there. You know, I mean, there's promotions on TV that have big time budgets and they do okay in their ratings. And it's like, my gosh, if we had just any budget to work with on production and whatnot and got on a TV station, we got a better storylines and better product in a lot of other places out there, and people would get on board and watch, because it's just we do what we believe is the right how things should be done. And yes, there's a Jim Crockett influence, there's a WCW influence, there's a Mid-South influencers. It's all there, but it's just because that's what we grew up on and that's what we fell in love with and that's what we wanted to be a part of. With all due respect, I do not like the WWE. I have never liked it. It does nothing for me. Drives me nuts when people find out I work in professional wrestling. They go, like, WWE? And it's like, it drives me nuts. I don't like it. It's just not what I grew up on. And it feels good to be able to slowly get people to kind of come around and be like, oh my gosh. Like, cause I always go out and watch our stuff. If I'm not reffing a match or if I'm done for the night or whatever it is, I always peek through the curtain or go out and just stand in the back and try and just watch. And like, I listen and I see what people are saying or how their reactions are. I'll try and get out and like talk to people as they're leaving and thank them for coming and just whatever. And people are genuinely just like, wow, like that was awesome. Like I've seen the videos, I've seen the TV, but I didn't think it was going to be that cool in person, and that it made me feel like I was a kid again. It brought me back to what made me fall in love with wrestling. And that's what we're trying to do. And so to see it get through to people and register is really a cool thing. We just need to keep it going, because we all believe that there's a lot more people out there that we could do something for if they just found out about us and saw us and gave us a chance.
One thing that I really like is well, the and you've talked about how you don't like WWE, which I can totally understand, but I think they have overplayed their hand with cutting back on doing house shows. And I'm like, that's perfect. Now, all these smaller companies, now here's your chance. Go be able to I say this but don't mean it, but go steal these fans that have dropped off. These are your fans to win over, and you can easily win them over if you have great product. A lot of fans have stopped watching wrestling in general because storylines was up. The things were the same old. You had no competition.
I agree. Yeah.
And for, I believe, fans like us, again, we're in the same area. So, I mean, we were NWA guys, just up and down, no problem. They went to WCW, damn it, we still WCW, we with you. Hell, if you can see better, I got NWA titles around my wall. That's my love, that's my passion. I loved it. So even WCW, when it was getting garbage, I'm just gonna say
yeah, you're right.
Garbage. I still stuck with them because it still was a hub of NWA wrestling. So when it went away, it was like, well, damn. What am I gonna do?
I the same way. When they folded, I literally shed tears after their last show. And I didn't watch wrestling for a couple of years. I did not watch wrestling. I would go to a random indie show here or there. But it was the biggest part of my life was gone. And I tried when TNA started to get behind them and order their weekly pay-per-views and watch their show. And it's like they just couldn't get out of first gear. They could never just get it going. And I tried Ring of Honor, and I tried AEW when it first started. They can't. It's in my mind, and this is my opinion, they just don't get it. And maybe it's a generational thing, and it's like maybe I'm at that point in life where I'm like an old man, and it's these young guys in wrestling that just, because I see guys all the time in our locker room, we talk about stuff, and they're like, oh man, I remember when I was a kid and I watched John Cena and The Rock, and I'm like, good God, like how young are you guys? Like when I was a kid, I was watching Tully Blanchard and the Midnight Express. Like that's a totally different thing. That said, what's cool about some of our guys we have is they may be younger, but they have that true love and respect for professional wrestling, where they go back and they do a little digging and they find guys that they get into, and they go, man, I was watching Brad Armstrong and Bobby Eaton, and like I was studying it, and we have guys that do that, and they go and they watch really good old stuff. And one guy was watching Lou Thez stuff. I mean, that's how far back he was going. But it's like they're students of the sport and of the business, and they want to be the best that they can be, and they want to incorporate all these different things, not just what the current thing is that you see on TV. So
one thing that I was always blessed with, that my nephews, they were into wrestling, so we could go to wrestling, and we would sit and talk about things. I'm like, yeah, they all right, but they ain't no horsemen. What's the horseman? Oh boy, look at here. That crap that ain't the real horseman. Look at this tape. Look at this. And my nephews have respect for the business, and they say my middle nephew. We talked some time ago, and he was telling me thank you. He said, "Man, it was because of you I learned what real wrestling should have been, what it was about." And it makes me look at now, it just not for me. It don't catch my attention.
So wrestling to me was real. Okay. When I was a kid, I thought that if I was out somewhere and the four horsemen walked by, that they would yell at me or push me or punch my dad or something like that. Right.
Right.
Like that's what I thought. They were just like bad dudes. I never got behind the 80s WWF stuff because it was like comic book and superhero stuff. And that wasn't real to me. Like it just wasn't real to me to have like you see stuff in wrestling nowadays where you're like that's just not real. That's fake. That's not no one can survive going through 15 sheets of glass and thumbtacks and they just continually kick out of everything and it's don't even get me started on like intergender wrestling and stuff like that, but it's like it's just not real. And you have to respect professional wrestling and it has to be believable and you can't insult people's intelligence. I don't buy this crap nowadays where it's like, and I'm sure someone will come and get me for this, wrestling is for everyone and just because you want to do it you should be able to do it, and no matter how crappy you are or how bad you look or what you want to go out and play, fight and do, like that's garbage to me. Like wrestling should be done a certain way. It needs to be believable, it needs to be respectful, and it's harder, it's getting harder and harder to find that stuff. But I thought that Jim Cornette was a jerk when I was a kid. And I thought that, Tully Blanchard would shove me down if he walked by me. And I just never got into like some corny made up superhero looking guy who was a villain. And, if I wanted to watch comic book stuff or watch Superman or whatever, I would watch that. But that's not what wrestling was to me. Wrestling was different. It was something sacred and special. And,
And that to this day is why I have no love for Hulk Hogan. I respect what he's done for the business. Know that he could actually wrestle if he chose to.
Yeah.
But I could not stand him. I like you said, wrestling was real to me. So you're sitting there putting Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair. There's no contest. Ric Flair wrestled damn 90-minute matches to Hulk's leg
10
drop.
minutes, right? Yeah, same. Yeah. Hogan to me is like the anti-Ric Flair. I think that Ric Flair was great all through his career, and post-wrestling has become kind of sad. But on the flip side, I was never a Hogan fan as far as his career, and once he got out of wrestling and I was like, oh, okay, he's, I can whatever. But it's kind of like the opposite of the two. But I had a thought that just escaped me, and hopefully it comes back in a second. If it comes back, I'll let you know.
Yeah, and I've always told people, I think it's a Southern thing that we take it as serious as possible because that's how it was presented to us. Serious. Mean. If you ran into, like you said, you ran into Jim Cornette, you were looking for him to pull out a tennis racket and
he's gonna whack me over the head or something.
Exactly. So as growing up and learning the business, I've gotten a chance to talk to Jim Cornette a few different times, and I listened to his podcast. And I understand his points about wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Again, and again, I'm a realist too. I understand that wrestling has to evolve because if it stays stagnant, it's going to go away. So It's going to evolve. It's going to do different things. But with that being said, if I had my choice, if I had the ability, wrestling would be 80s style wrestling booking type of wrestling.
So,
It-
I not to interrupt you, I
yeah,
think I agree with what you're saying, and I think oftentimes people refer to 80s style wrestling because there was a big, huge boom in wrestling. It's when it got kind of thrust into the mainstream. Again, there's been different booms throughout different eras,
right,
um, but it's what it's what got us in there. What we remember, um, it was in so many ways. It was kind of like the last of it being done the way it had always been done, and in my opinion, done the right way. Jim Cornette, I've heard him say that's like Smoky Mountain Wrestling, for example, was the right idea and the right concept. It just was the wrong time, and it was too much with production and all that kind of stuff.
right.
Um, I think what we're doing is it's similar, but I think it might be right idea, right time, because it's so much easier for us to make television, to produce stuff. We don't have to rent trucks to come in, production trucks and all that kind of stuff. We can get a couple of cameras and hook them into a laptop and a soundboard, and it's like we're ready to go. And we can do a real quick turnaround on getting our episodes out. It's just so much more streamlined and so much easier to get that stuff done now. And a lot of people will give us kind of comparisons in some ways to Smoky Mountain Wrestling as far as how we look on, our shows and things like that. And what I was going to say a minute ago that slipped my mind was I had so much family. You were talking about your nephews and stuff. I have so much family that as I was growing up, all my cousins and stuff on my dad's side of the family down in near Roanoke in the country and stuff, they all watched wrestling when I was a kid. It was one thing that like I thought was cool when I'd go down there is like they would watch wrestling too, and they knew what was going on. And it was Crockett, it was NWA, WCW, and slowly they all dropped off. They all dropped off. And the number one thing that I hear over and over again is it's just not real anymore. It's not. It was real, and it's not real anymore. And you know what? If you like WWE and you want to watch that, fantastic. Go and watch that. If you like AEW and you want to watch that, awesome. Go and watch that. But there's a lot of people out there that don't watch anything, and we want to appeal to those people. And that's it. And however much we can grow it and however much we can spread it, it's great. But the dream obviously would be to be able to get it to as many people as we can and to get an investor or a little bit of money behind it so we can just kind of enhance what we do. No one's looking to get rich. No one's looking to do anything other than fill a void that's there. So
I love that because in today's wrestling, I think there are so many different flavors of wrestling out there for so many different fans. As I tell a lot of people, if you never have been a wrestling fan, what you need to do is start with looking over the different types of wrestling. See what appeals to you, what sticks out to you. Then, okay, you like this style of wrestling. Then start finding out what promotions do that. Because now, again, I tell everybody this. We are in the territory days, but just better because you can watch anything around the world from the comforts of your home, and you can find it. But sometimes you got to do the work, put in that work to find out what promotion that does it, and that's the thing. I think, and I know I'm going to insult some people, and it is what it is. We have a bunch of lazy people. They don't want to look. They don't want to try to take the time. They want everything fat. I will put it to you, instead of a good home cooked meal from the stove, they rather have the microwave.
right.
And I'm not saying this right or wrong, but I'm just saying, then don't bitch. Don't bitch that your food is half cooked. Well, you stuck it in the microwave.
Right. Yeah. It's, you have options out there. There's variety out there. It's like music, there's people who love music, but they love different kinds of music. And there's always stuff out there that will make you feel the way you want to feel, and yeah, it's just a matter of us getting out there and people like you giving us a platform to, turn a few new people onto us. And so, wrestling's great. It's a unique form of entertainment, and it's I love it. It's great, but
Oh yeah.
but for a long time I did not have a place to go and get my kicks. So
How did you, because you started talking about the company, but how did you get into the wrestling business?
um like most people of my generation and time, I wanted to be a wrestler. um I mean, it was just everything. It was my life. And I'll save you some details and skip ahead. I had been involved with wrestling in some different capacities, and was at the time currently not involved with anything. Um, I asked a guy that I had met out in West Virginia who was having a show, "Is there anything I can do to help?" I just had the itch. I wanted to do something, and I thought I could collect tickets or ring the bell or help set the ring up or do whatever. And he said, "No, the only thing I need is a referee." And I said, "I can do that." And he said, "You can?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Are you available that night?" And I said, "Sure." And he goes, "All right, come on out." And I immediately thought, holy crap, what did I just do? Um, and so I just started, in the meantime, I started like just studying and watching wrestling and watching the referee and trying to just learn as much as I could, because I was never trained formally to be a referee. And went out and got referee gear and did my first show, and I think I had 2 matches, and didn't get in the way and didn't mess up. And he said, "Good job. Can you come back next month?" And I said, "Sure." And I just started snowballing from there. And that was 16 years ago. And I've literally worked hundreds of shows and thousands of matches since then. 8 different states, all over the place, and a lot of miles on a couple of cars. But I'm MATW now. I was getting a little burnout with just indie wrestling and trying to get myself bookings and do different things. And when the opportunity to work for MATW came along for their first show, I said, "Absolutely, sounds great." And I walked in and looked at the setup, and I went, "Oh, this is different." Instantaneously, I said, "This is different." And I started hearing about the vision and what the plan was and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, that was 3 years ago. I'm guessing probably about 3 years ago. And it got to the point where that's the only place I work. I know what the schedule is, what the shows are. We've been doing 30 shows a year, something like that. More in kind of spring to fall. We've been kind of a little bit lighter, Christmas through winter, through winter time and stuff like that. But yeah, it's great. And it's I've gotten the opportunity to learn a lot, to grow, to enhance what I can offer to the business and do for a promotion. I've gotten to promote some shows. Some turned out okay. Some were learning lessons. I've done everything. I get to kind of pipe in some input on some things, and I get ideas bounced off me, and I just help with a lot of different things. Anything and everything I can do, I am eager to do. I'm a big proponent of learning and growing and always kind of trying to better yourself. And I am super thankful for the opportunity I have to still do that at this point in my life and this point in my wrestling career with the promotion, that I'm still eager and optimistic, and I just can't wait to see where we go. And I have not had that kind of youthful optimism for anything with professional wrestling in a long, long time. And so, it's great. I'm just super thankful to be where I am and to do what I do with the people that I do it with. It is a unique, it is a very, very unique and special and different office locker room than any place I have ever been in the world of professional wrestling. Um, and I'm humbled to be a part of that and to be trusted, whether it's in the ring with a match or my opinion on things, or any number of other things. And so, yeah, and one day I'll write a book about it, maybe. So,
Is it so being a sponge and being a utility player has made you such an invaluable part of the company?
maybe, I guess, I don't know. I like, it's cool to hear that. And I jokingly say I'm just a ref. Um, I think I'm an okay referee. I guess I'm maybe slightly better than okay, because I've we had a show where I had to like fill in and do some other stuff, and it was like, yeah, I got to get you back in the ring. I need you to be in the ring, and it's hard there's certain things I can't really do or be a part of because I have to be in the ring and referee and do different things like that. But yeah, I mean, I just still try and learn and grow, and I just try and I get better. And I don't want to sound redundant by saying that, but that's truly how I feel. And I try and have that attitude with, my job in the real world or with my health or with any number of things. I always try and learn and grow and just better myself. I feel like we so often in life, people kind of shortchange themselves, by thinking they know something, thinking they know everything they can know about a subject, or thinking that they've reached a point in their career where they've got it made and they don't need to continue to improve. We can always learn and grow and get better. And I feel as long as we have that attitude, we can do that. And that's what I try and do in wrestling. And so whether I'm refereeing a match or whether I'm giving an opinion on something or whether I'm promoting a show, I try and do the best I can, and I try and learn from it and be better the next time I do that. And so,
That's
I'm a sponge.
that's the reason why I say you are a utility player. That's why I say you are valuable, because they obviously see it. They just wouldn't throw anybody in the positions that they ask you to do. You're some of the most valuable people on the team is that team member who doesn't make a lot of noise. When they ask to do something, they do it to the best of their ability. Even when you're asked something new that you have no knowledge about, you go and give it a shot and you give 100%. That's the ultimate sign of a team player. And any company you find, I don't care if it's a mom and pop place or the most corporate place, they never survive without team players. And I get it, because a lot of times I don't try to pat myself on the back to say, but it doesn't take away from what you are and what people see of you I mean, just me and you having this conversation just right now, I'm sitting here thinking, geez, I wish I had a guy who worked for us was that willing and had that desire to do what you're doing. Because again, you can be the greatest leader of all time, but it means not a damn thing if you don't have the soldiers and the people that are listening and willing to do and step up. So
it was, and I appreciate you saying that. And as I said a couple minutes ago, like growing up, I wanted to be a wrestler. That's what it was. It was wrestler. There you go. Never
right.
thought about being a referee. Never thought about doing anything else in wrestling. And for the most part, I'm doing everything else now, not wrestling. And like, I do, to this day, I do not take for granted that I am able to do what I do. Like anytime I'll be out. I've had people come into my day job and be like, "You look familiar," and I'm like, that blows my mind anytime someone says something like that, or just the fact that like I get to go do a wrestling show and like do anything to like help make it successful and better. I mean, that's such an honor to be able to do that. And I'm so fortunate to be able to do that and to be where I am and doing what I'm doing. And I just want to not screw anything up, and I want to contribute to it, and I want to leave it a little bit better than I found it. And like I said, that said, like I'm like, good Lord, I'm so blessed to be able to do this. Like it was my life growing up. And I'm, I'm a middle-aged man who gets to go do wrestling all the time. And, it's awesome. Like, it's great. And I just want to do my part, whatever it is.
I truly understand. Hell, like you, I wanted to be a wrestler. Didn't think anything else because I didn't know better. Like hell, I was doing promotion and booking before I realized what I was doing as a kid. And
a lot of us did that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then I got married, had a family. It was about the family.
Yeah.
Then my kids got grown, got a divorce, got remarried. Me and my wife, she knows my dreams. I had an opportunity. And basically, she was the one to push me to take that opportunity. Hell, I never imagined at 52 years old that I could say I'm a part of the wrestling business. I never thought this. I got a chance to step in the ring, and the ring was surrounded in a cage. My first time ever walking into one. I'm mind blown. I'm actually in the segment. I had entrance music coming out. And I'm like, I get it. I get why men and women don't want to let this go. This is intoxicating. I got put in the Hall of Fame. Never ever thought that was possible. Me and the guy went back and forth for the longest about it. I'm like, I'm not insulting all these wrestlers that put their body on the line. And he's like, but you contribute so much. No, not man, come on. Then finally, I finally start to understand what he was saying. And it always helps when people threaten to put you in a headlock. Sometimes it make you think quicker. It made me anyway. So again, yeah. I definitely understand what you're saying of being humble and being blessed to be in the business that you love and can do it. So, but as I had to learn, there's nothing wrong with getting your flowers. There's nothing wrong with people wanting to tell you they appreciate you. That's good. You need to hear that and be willing to accept that, because again, as I tell most people, wrestling is the ultimate team sport. You can sit there and think, well, you just need two wrestlers. No, you need two wrestlers. That match ain't going to be crap. I don't care how great these guys are. If you don't have a referee, if you don't have a commentary team, if you don't have managers, valet, you don't have cameraman, you don't have all these different things. Yes, it looks like it's only two, but it's more than that. And we need to be appreciative. You need to hear fans come up just like, hey, I do know you, man. You do a good job. Or, man, you know what? You can't count worth crap. You look, 1, 2, 3. Or, hey, here's my glasses. You need them because your breath is. You bring so much to the business.
Contrary to what fans think, I can hear everything out there. So I do hear what's said, and I may not acknowledge it, but I do hear what's said. And so maybe one day I can be in a Hall of Fame too.
And see, that's the thing. It's just being able to accept what you do in the business, because it means a lot. I know I appreciate it because you keep the sport alive that I love, and you help keep it going, and you present it to new people. And I know after I'm dead and gone, the business is going to be in great hands. People are going to continue trying to make the business better than they found it, and it's going to keep going. So again, that's why I love Mid-Atlantic Territory Wrestling. That's why I love everything y'all are doing. And I always try to get people to see it. And again, not everybody's going to appreciate it like me, but I know there's a lot of people that will. So I talk about it and try my best to get it out there.
We appreciate that. And I certainly appreciate you having me on to jack my jaw about it. Every time I get to step in the ring, I don't take it for granted. Anytime I get to talk to someone like you, it's always a treat. And there's a part of me in the back of my mind that's like, man, like at some point someone's going to go, wait a minute, we're sending this guy out. This guy's talking. This guy's in the ring. Like, come on, we can do better than that. So I try and be on my best behavior and do the best I can so that I can milk this for as long as I can. Because one of these days someone's going to go, oh, all right, we're done with you. So,
and when they do, there's going to be 3, 4, 5 ready to pick you up and run because they know what you can do and what you offer to the business.
I appreciate that. Thank you for saying that.
You're welcome. Is there any, before we leave, is there any shout outs, anybody, any events coming up that you want to talk about? The floor is yours, sir.
Oh my gosh. So as I said, we're a little slow in the winter time. I'm going to pull up my phone here and let me take a look here and see. So we've got a TV taping coming up on the 14th in Yorktown, Virginia. Body by D Gym, where they're the second Saturday of every month at 6:00. That's where we tape the following month's TV, which is on the Right Now network. And they got an app that's available everywhere. You can watch the shows, then go up on our YouTube channel, so you can check us out on YouTube as well. We have episodes on every Tuesday and Thursday. One's a repeat and one's new. Lots of other videos. We've always got stuff kind of popping out on social media and stuff there. So anyone, we're easy to find. You just got to find us. We're all over social media. Give us a follow. Check us out. We might not be for everyone, but most people who are wrestling fans dig what we're doing. Then we got a show on March 29th in Newport News, Virginia. We'll be back second Saturday, of course, in April, every month in Yorktown. We've got 3 shows at the Powhatan Fair outside of Richmond, Virginia on August 15th and 16th. We'll be at a fair in Shenandoah, Virginia on May did I say May or August? I said May 15th. Yes. We'll be at a fair in Shenandoah. We've got fairs all over Virginia this summer. I mean, we get Madison County, Dinwiddie, all over the place. We got a couple of really big shows coming up later this year that I can't quite reveal yet. But people who follow us, keep your eyes peeled. Our biggest show ever is coming up later this year. And so we're really excited to get that announced soon. And people in the wrestling business will get some eyes on MATW and some fans who may not be familiar with us. There's going to be a very big opportunity for us coming up this fall for some exposure that we're all psyched about. So yeah, we're getting out there. We're going to have a very full spring and summer. Couple shows a month, Virginia, North Carolina, looking at places in West Virginia to run. Truly a territorial promotion across the Mid-Atlantic. And so, yeah, it's great stuff. It's good fun. So
again, I definitely appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you going hard for Mid-Atlantic. I am trying to get more out there to see different promotions. I started a little bit last year. I'm gonna try to do more this year. So who knows? We may get to meet in person soon.
Where are you located at?
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. It's that end of the state and now down that way is difficult because we don't have anyone involved in the promotion that's local there. There's been talk of working with some people down there, and we certainly will be a lot closer to you coming up in the not too distant future. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I love to be able to get down that way a little bit eventually. But we've got to grow a little bit more before we can do that, just because we don't have boots on the ground at this point in our development and our growth. And so, yeah, but yeah.
Slow and steady. That's the
Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes you got to enjoy the ride, but you want to maybe get a little bit further ahead, a little bit further down the road. But anytime you ever need anything, again, I appreciate you and we appreciate you. And we appreciate you putting a bug in some people's ear about us. And so anything you ever need at any time, just let us know. If you can ever make it out to a show somewhere, we've got a huge show, probably about halfway between me and you, coming up on August 1st at the Augusta County Expo Center in Fishersville, Virginia, which is kind of right up 81. So it's still probably a couple hours from you, but not in the vein of the Jim Crockett Senior Memorial Cup Tag Team Tournament. We're having the first ever Chuck Coates Memorial Tag Team Tournament. And there's going to be a convention and stuff involved with that. And it's going to be a very, very big show. A lot of outside talent coming in to work that tournament. And so that will be on August 1st in Fishersville, Virginia. That's going to be the biggest show we've ever done. But it will quickly be trumped shortly thereafter by the biggest show we've ever done. So a lot of stuff coming down the pipe. But anything you ever need at any time, let us know. And if you ever want to come out to a show and you can make one out, let us know. We'd be happy to have you come out. And
I appreciate that. And the same here. Anything we can do, be glad to do. And y'all have an open invitation to my show. And if you wouldn't mind, tell Kevin that I'm coming for him. And we're going to do a long sit-down conversation. I love to pick his brain.
Hey, he comes out every once in a while. He was getting his own promotion going for a while, and I don't know. I think that might be done. I don't know for sure the details on that, but I'm sure he will be back soon. The guy who runs the promotion is in regular contact with him. I know Kevin Kelly keeps his eyes on what we do and gives us his feedback on things. And so he's a believer. And so that's a very humbling thing to know that someone of that, who's been around and done as much as he has, believes in what we're doing.
Yes.
And so, yeah. So if Kevin Kelly can dig us, so can you. So
man,
everyone out there, give us a chance.
I love it. Guys, girls, thank you so much for joining us around the campfire. Again, it's that thing of understanding what people go through to make sure we're having great entertainment. So when you get the chance to talk to wrestlers, owners, bookers, whoever, let them know how much you appreciate them and love their product. They would love to hear that. And as I always say before I leave my show, please, please, please go and support your local indie show. You never know who's on it. They're trying to work their way up of being whatever. They may want to be just a territory star. They may want to be the greatest WWE champion, whatever. But go give them that support. And also, you're going to have a great time at these shows, I'm telling you. And the kicker of all of it, you can walk in with money and walk out with money because they're reasonable and affordable. So definitely go do that. Make memories for your kids that last a lifetime. I'm telling you, you're looking at two men that live in their memories and nobody can tell us different about it. So with that being said, I'm Professor Bear. This has been a Bear's Thought, and we will see you around the campfire very, very soon. Y'all take care and have a great evening.